Hello. So today I'm going to be doing a Purrely deck profile. I think it's probably one of the best kind of versions that I've made. I think I've done a pretty good job here. I've managed to top locals consistently for the past month or so. And I'm looking forward to taking the higher tier events starting next month when regionals and then Dortmund. Most of it's pretty standard, but I'll kind of be giving more in-depth approaches on kind of choices that I've made otherwise. So you play three of each of these. That is really standard. You max out on all the Purrely cards pretty much. Then for hand traps and kind of run into the monsters, we've got Ash and Draw. Ash and Draw are just for ones that you want to draw into these, because they're just really strong. This is especially for like Brandon and Labyrinth, and then this just shuts off combo decks. So when you do the kind of draw 4 play, with Noir going first, you want to just see these so that you can actually interrupt your opponent and survive until the next turn. That's pretty much it. Going second as well, they're really good to just make sure that you can go second, then establish your own board into theirs. The last monster we play then is Fenrir. I think this monster is really good. Well, Fenrir is obviously really good. It does kind of conflict with Droll, in that if you summon Fenrir and you use the effect to add, they draw you there and you can't search at all. But if you want to play around Droll by using the quick plays in the draw phase, by going, then Fenrir in hand is dead. So what you tend to do is you just go main phase, summon Fenrir, and then you make your first search impactful. You don't use Fenrir here. So let's say you've got a Sleepy in hand already. You probably want to go, like Lily for example, search My Friend, and then place My Friend. If they draw you there, that's fine. If they don't draw you, get the Fenrir search for just a free discard. It's just a free card in hand that is an interruption, as well as the discards, which you do need for the engine. I think this is much better than playing like a Shaddoll Beast or a Dark World package, just so that you can actually find draws that have impact and aren't just cards that you see and you're like, oh. This card is also just really good again. Floodgates, I've beaten anti-spell with it. This card just carries games. Like in such a close game set, if you've just got a Fenrir in hand, you just win, because Fenrir is just such a strong card. Gets you a +1 for 2 turns, and it's just an interrupt whenever. For the spells, you max out on the memories, obviously. That's pretty standard. You wanna see them, and then you play through My Friend. This as well is standard. I play 2 Street. Some people are on 3 Street. I don't think it's needed. I think you want to see this sometimes. It's more like it's like a win more card. It protects you against some things. If you see My Friend and a way into Street, you definitely go for Street. But you don't need 3. The only problem is like My Friend can't search Street. It has to kind of RNG into Street, where sometimes you want Street. But you can always go like My Friend 2 Street 1 Lily, or even just 3 Lily to search Street. Because Lily then is just the extra body for an extra Xyz as well. So you can just do that. And then on 3 Prosp. Prosp is very strong, obviously. Some lists are playing 2, that just makes no sense to me. You want to see this in every hand. Like, best case scenario, you Prosp for 6, dig for Sleepy. Or, any play, really. Or if they interrupt you, you can Prosp into kind of an extender. And if not, you don't Prosp. You Prosp for free at the end of the turn to get find a Book of Moon or something, or like a Talents maybe to rip from hand, just as like an extra interrupt. And like worst case scenario, if they draw you, just discard it. And you want to see this to unbrick like as much as possible. Like this card is insane. And then 2 Talents. This again is standard. Triple Tactics, just especially with drawing the format. For the most part, I am just Talents, ripping from hand. Occasionally, you'll like draw, and occasionally you'll take, but for the most part you'll rip them from hand if they draw you. Taking getting second is good, and drawing is pretty good for extension if they ask you instead of giving you a draw. If you need extension, if not you can take again. And then book. Book is really strong. If they try and imperm you, you can book then. So book doesn't stop the kind of imperm on the XCs, but book will stop you from not being able to search off Lily for my friend, which you just want to do. And then the last two cards in the main deck, we play Caught By. Just like, it's a one-of card that you just want to see every game, really. Draw it, stops draw, stops ash, stops imperm, stops everything. I've seen it stop mole cricket, seals. It's just insane. And then leap, it's standard. You don't need more traps. You don't play the other trap. It's just doesn't do as much, and you don't play a second leap. If they start limiting, I think in the next list we'll get like a limit on like Noir maybe. I think maybe then you might choose to play a second leap, just because like you need to shuffle back cards to actually have a chance. But anyway, for the extra deck you play 2 Beauty, 1 Noir. You only need 1 Noir. You search for trap. That's all. The first effect is okay, but like you're not making it for the first effect. You're making it so it can search trap. Obviously, like if you have 2 traps in deck, if you draw a really good hand, it's good advantage. But if you don't, it doesn't do anything, and it's the risk of a brick. 2 happiness again, standard. You need 2 happiness and 2 beauty, just for like kind of prosp reasons, but also just because like in a longer game you're gonna want to make both. Whereas like you don't want to make 2 noirs really, because if you've searched for trap already, you don't need it again. And then you play plump. Plump is just really good in the mirror. And it's pretty good for like longer games as well, when you want to just like attach stuff in your grave that's already left over. But again, you don't need 2. A Delicious is at 1 now, so you don't get the second choice really. And then for the last Purrely ones, we play 2 Noir. Again, pretty standard. One for off leap and 1 for other follow up to him. And then for the kind of other random XCs, we play the Kiki Ganeshri Foot Show. This bird, it's just really good. Going first, you tend to have 2 leftover monsters. You make this, you never make Princess Sprite, especially when I'm playing like Fenris as well. You don't hit off Princess Sprite, and what you do hit isn't going to be an extender if you've already got 3 monsters on field. You're just like, you're sitting there hoping to hit like Book of Moon. Why would you want to do that? You make this, so that they can't kill you for the turn, so that when you like +8 with like all of your draws, and then if they out your Noir, you've got the +4 off a friend and sleep off a friend and street. This is also just really good in like closed states. You make this if they interrupt you, and then you can't play anymore. If they draw you, sometimes you can't do anything apart from this, and you just make this and play on the next turn. And then you play down a 2 Zeus. 2 Zeus is pretty important as well. I like 2 Zeus definitely. You pretty much need it, because you occasionally, after like going second, it comes up a lot. You'd make the Zeus, and then you'd break their board, make Zeus, finish it off, and then they go again. You'd make Zeus, fade out the Zeus at some point, and then you make the second Zeus then. Going first, you don't tend to need it, but it's still really strong. And then for links, you play Anima. I find people do play into this, not extremely. I think this is a very good prosp target. If they haven't played into it, you just manifest off prosp, because they're not going to play into it. And then you play Azalea and Moon. These both work differently, depending on what floodgates you've been put under. But there are also just 2 removal options. Agent's Moon is really good as well, just because like I've done this so many times, where it just tributes itself, so it dodges like an imperm, or especially against Rescue Ace. If you know they've got the set, then that's always good. I've just done this to get rid of the Turbulence occasionally. Just like getting rid of a card and knowing that they're not going to imperm you, or kind of any target and negate to stop that, is much better than Azalea. So I do like that. And then for the side deck, I'm on 3 Santa Claus. You have to play a kind of like Towers Out card this format. I think that Santa Claus is the best. especially in Purrely. I think in other decks you can get away with just a Kaiju, but excuse me. So Santa Claus is just the best. Herald of the Abyss is okay. The problem you've got with Herald of the Abyss is just like into actual negate boards, they just negate it. Whereas like Santa Claus, you actually distribute over anything. It's the same with Xyz's Encore. Like this is good going second into pretty much every board you put this in. Whereas going second into something, you're not going to put Xyz's Encore into like Dragon Link, or you're not going to put Xyz's Encore when you're going against, you know, other matchups. So this is just the most generic, and it's also just the strongest, I think. Whereas Xyz's Encore can stop the whole like draw play and the towers play, and like the +4 play. This Santa Claus is just better because it's more generic removal than just Xyz's Encore, which is just purely and kind of cash, but not really. And then I am on 4 Bestials. I was on 3, but I think you just want to see them. Mathmech, Branded, Dragon Link. Everything loses to Bestials. The other deck, Mana Dome loses to Bestials. You just banish the Visas when they summon, so they can't Astral out to extend. And that pretty much kills their whole combo. I played 2 Cosmics. I might have liked to play a 3rd. There's just not enough room for it at all. So like I would cut the 3rd Bestial for a Cosmic if I see more back row kind of things that you can't out otherwise. Against Runic, for example, this is good, but I think you've just got a good matchup against Runic anyway with just all of your removal. You can attach the fountain so that they can't carry it back. So that's really strong. You can also just like draw them, mash them. You know, there's you play enough ways to kind of get around it. So for last we play Evenly Matched. Evenly is just really good going second. You put in and go second. You take out their board if they can't. If it's like Branded, Runic, they don't play negates. They just play Interruption. And then the last card I put is Judgment. I think this card is pretty good. I think it's a lot better in decks that draw going first, not on the second turn. But when I see this, I pretty much always win going first. It's one of those, like, you put it in, if you see it going first, you've won. It's just for Splot where, like, going first, you probably want to take out, like, the Fenrirs that are in the main deck, and you just put this in if you've got nothing better to put in. And, like, you might not see it, and it feels kind of bad drawing it when you're going with, like, something else. I was contemplating getting rid of this and putting Ghost Bells, but I think that just this is much better as just a going first kind of side deck choice. I really like Judgment. That's the only reason I'm playing it. But yeah, that's about it. Good luck and have fun.